All right. Hi, everybody. Starting a video with all right. Yes, um, throughout the last several months of having this Substack medium to communicate through, I've had a lot of really great conversations about what stops us from being successful, what stops us from getting our work done, what stands in the way of business from getting our work done? And right now, business is in this really horrible loop where it feels like AI is coming to eat us, and tariffs are coming to eat us, and all of these things are coming to gloom and doom us. And the fact is that we all have companies with people in them who are capable of doing really great work. But right now, everybody's kind of freaked out about things, and that's pretty toxic. And I've used this number before, but uh, the studies that I've been reading, and if you go do research on the internet, you'll find that this $917 billion figure shows up quite often. And that's just in the United States of the cost of toxicity for companies. And I want to just start with that because I want to say that that money isn't just like people getting sick or becoming frustrated. That money is also people having meetings that they shouldn't be having, constantly repeating themselves about things that have already been decided, just work that isn't flowing the way that it should. And that's what drag is. So drag is anything that stops us from finishing our work or getting our work done. And so there's some things that come into that. And this, it's a write-up shows like, so one of them is just our inability to focus. And the numbers out there are that it's 40% of our capacity is lost to context switching. And from what Tony Ann and I have watched in companies that we've worked with is it's usually higher because most work is rework done in the service of context switching. So you've been interrupted so many times that you put in work that isn't perfectly set up, that doesn't meet the brief, that doesn't meet the mark. And so then what happens is you end up doing that work again. And when you do that work again, you have to context switch to do the work, and you have to have a whole bunch of meetings to talk about the work that should have been done the right first time and then wasn't. And then you start to talk about holding people accountable and things like that, when no one ever needed to be held accountable. We just needed to set up a system where people could actually know what they needed to do and have the right information there when they needed to do it. So all in all, we suffer from this illusion of progress where we get a bunch of overload, we do a bunch of rework, we do more plugs, we do more rework, and all of this this says here, dissolves into blame, but it feels like progress because everybody's doing so much work. And the fact is that it's not healthy, it's not fun, it's not enjoyable. Then it becomes toxic. That creates more work. So we want to start to create work that is visible, where we're not only tracking our quality like the box says here. The box is great, but it's a box. uh, what we want is to make sure that when we are working together as a group, which includes C-level people and middle managers, upper managers, lower managers, all the people, when we as a group, as a large group, get together to do something, we need to make sure that everybody's impact is visible so that everyone is seen, so that work is tracked, so that things are realized, that when you guys do something and it is worth doing, that people know that it was done. I've watched tons of people get laid off or fired because people don't actually know what they do. And they don't have enough information to even describe back the value of the work that they're doing. So they did all these tasks and say, well, I did a ton of stuff, but that's not value. So we have to understand, what are the goals of the company? What are the goals of the project? What are the goals of us all working together to get that done? And if we're not working for that, then we're just working in this world of perverse incentives. And the story that I use in the write-up is of a guy that I worked with at one point where he and I were going to do something. He calls up his calendar and it's just double and triple booked every minute of every day for months on end. And he just grabs this one part and says, I can fit you in here. And I'm like, you're already triple booked there. And he's like, well, you're more important. And I'm like, okay. But what was happening was in all those meetings that he wasn't going to, people were waiting for him to make the final decision. He had to start trusting people. He had to start giving them the ability to act and then to create a system where he was informed about those actions in a way that wasn't a briefing. So then he didn't just replace that meeting with another meeting to brief them on the meeting, but that he could actually see the work that had been done. And he could go around and say, oh, you did this and you did this and you did this. Oh, those things are great. Oh, you did this. Hey, we should probably talk about that. So he's talking now about 15, 10, maybe 20% of the work that previously he was talking about 100% of, because 80 or 90% of that work was just fine. So we want to reduce the amount of drag. We want to increase the amount of flow. And flow is people doing the right work at the right time in a way in which they're confident. And if you can't see the business value of that, then you don't deserve to be in business. If you have people that understand what they can do to help the company and they're able to do that as quickly as possible, then by definition, they have helped the company and now the company is more stable. You don't need to lay all these people off because of AI and because of all these other excuses. You need to make better use of the people that you are lucky to already have. So we want to replace burnout and drag with flow and the ability of work to actually support the people who are doing the work. And that's what we call humane work. So this isn't, about, whether we're going to be humane in this and we're going to sacrifice productivity. It's making sure that we can actually have real performance and not just all of this expensive chaos that we're currently dealing with. And that, my friends, is the business case for humane management.